Hi, this is Lady Nephthys of Universal Pagan Temple, and we're going to talk about protecting yourself and your family from ghosts and spirits, and house cleansing and more. Let's get down to what causes a haunting. Traumatic events, a soul that does not wish to move on, a soul that is stuck in a place, negative energy that manifests outside of a person, and upset house spirits or land spirits of a house that has been recently remodeled. Now, most ghosts are harmless, but sometimes people have issues with what are known as poltergeists, intelligent spirits that can cause physical change. For these types of spirits, do not do the things listed in this video. Instead, contact a respectable medium or psychic in your area. Now, it's important not to try to banish a spirit altogether. Nothing in this video is going to banish a spirit completely, because I recommend against doing that because I've done it myself. Years ago, my husband and I lived in a little house, and there was a fog spell for a couple of days in the middle of January. So I was about to go to sleep, and I saw a man standing in the doorway of my bedroom. He was wearing a white shirt, a brown vest, and he had a handlebar mustache, and I couldn't see his legs, only from the torso to the head. At first my thought was, did somebody break into the house? No, both doors are locked. Oh my goodness, this is a spirit. I freaked out, and so did my husband, because I woke him up from his slumber. And about an hour later, we banished the spirit. Now, this upsetted the spirit to the point where he was clapping throughout the house and also jiggling doorknobs for several days. So we got away luckily, but please don't banish spirits unless you know what you're doing. People's first thought when deciding to cleanse their house is to use sage. Sage is excellent. It does cleanse the house, but it doesn't do too much on the protection side. For that, you will need Florida water. Florida water used to be a cologne back in the day, but unfortunately not too many people were too keen on it, so they decided to use it as a spiritual cleanser after several psychics had used it and discovered its protective and psychic ability enhancing powers. But before you get on to sage or Florida water or incense, the first thing I recommend you do in a house cleanse to protect your family is to physically clean the house. I know I'm giving you chores to do, but this really is the best method for removing any lingering negative energy. The second thing is to make sure that anybody in the house is not having any quarrels or arguments, and if they are, make sure that they are resolved, and then burn some dragon's blood incense afterwards. What you'll need for this protection ritual to cleanse your house is you will need a stick of sage, Florida water, probably a broom, and then you'll need a mop and a mop bucket. Now, what you want to do before cleansing your house is to physically clean your house. This removes any negative energy that could be left by anything else or spirits. The physical clean will also require vacuuming or sweeping the floor. Of course, if you're going to be using the Florida water method, you'll want to sweep the floor before you mop it. You can also use any kind of prayer or chant while you're doing this, adding to the magic. Now it's time for the sage. With the sage, you'll want to move around your house clockwise. Next, fill your bucket with water, and then you'll take the Florida water and just put a few drops in. It is very stinky, so be careful. And then with your Florida water infused mop bucket, you'll want to mop the floor. I usually go from north to south, but you can do whatever suits your need and your physical space that you are in. Another thing you can do with Florida water is you can take a couple of drops and put it in a spray water bottle and spray your house with it. You can do this just like you do with sage. You can move around clockwise or counterclockwise depending on your intention for the house cleansing. Another great thing for Florida water is to put a little bit on your fingertip and use a protective sigil or a rune. In this case, I'm doing the Ogle's rune for protection, and put that on windows or doors. In addition to the Ogle's rune or any other protective sigils that you have, you can also use the Eye of Horus to protect your family from ghosts or spirits.